Hello everybody and welcome. In this video we'll be playing in the Seesaw seasonal event. In this mode, at the end of every turn, every unit that is on even power will be boosted by 1, and every unit on odd power will be damaged by 1. And so we'll want to try and keep our units on even power at the end of our turn, and have our opponent's units on odd power if we're going to take full advantage of this mode's effects. And the important point to remember about this mode is that the Seesaw effect is the first effect applied at the end of the turn, i.e. before bleeding, before a unit's ability is processed, etc. So, whatever power a unit is on when you pass or end turn is what is going to count in this mode. For example, consider the Wild Hunt Hound. It will boost itself by 1 at the end of every turn. But at 3 power it is at odd power, and so first the Seesaw will reduce its power to 2, and then its effect will trigger, boosting it back up to 3. And essentially will remain stuck at this number. Alternatively, consider the Apiarian Phantom. It also boosts itself at the end of the turn, but it is 4 power, and so the Seesaw will first boost it to 5, and then its ability will trigger and it'll boost itself to 6. So basically, just remember the Seesaw effect does go first, and you'll find this event a lot easier to play. Now this is probably the most complex mode to play, as points will fluctuate a lot at the turn end. And the other critical point about this mode is about when you pass. And the biggest misplays in this event arise because players have not accounted for the Seesaw effects. And remember, even if you are ahead, when you pass, your score may not be the same. And if you're considering playing one more card after your opponent has passed, remember they will be affected by the Seesaw once, and you twice. And so your score after having played your card will be what you're left with after you pass next. And your opponent's score will change depending on their number of even and odd units. So, always take the time to count the number of even and odd units on either side of the board to see how the score will change before passing or playing. After all, it may be possible to win by simply passing and allowing the Seesaw to take effect. Anyway, let's see the deck we'll be using in this video. So, here's the deck we'll be using in this video. And to be honest, it's probably a little early to be posting this, as I've only played 7 games, but it's such a nice list I couldn't wait. And in the Seesaw event, allied units on even power will be boosted at the end of our turn, and those on odd power will be damaged. And thanks to the effect of the Seesaw, when we use coins in this mode to boost our units, or damage our enemies, we'll actually double the value of each coin if we use them at the correct times. And there are 3 main aspects to this deck: the boosting units, the damaging units, and as this is a syndicate list, the coin generators. And there's a lot of interesting juggling that you have to do in order to play this deck, which we'll get into in the video. So we'll start with the units which benefit from the positive swing of the Seesaw. And the street urchins have profit 3, and by spending 1 coin they can boost themselves by 1. And so long as we have coin to spare, we can always ensure that they are at even power at the end of our turn by using their fee ability. And so long as we're supplying them coin, they will function as a +2 engine in this mode. We also run Jacques de Aldersberg, and this is a devotion deck, so we will be able to give him to his 3rd form, in which case he, like the urchins, can spend 1 coin in order to boost himself by 1. And note that he also has a Profit 4 and Tribute 4 ability, which will allow him to spawn additional units, which are these 3 power Flaming Rose Footmen. Although keep in mind that unless we have a way to boost these units, they will hover between 2 and 3 points, whereas each coin can boost Jacques by 2 points, for a total of 8. So you may not wish to use his Tribute, which is rather unconventional when using this card, and instead save the coins for boosting Jacques. Of course, the risk of this is that you stack your boost on a single card, so you do have to keep that in mind. But one of our best options when it comes to boosting is the Coerced Blacksmith, and he has profit 2, but by spending 1 coin he can boost an allied unit by 1. And so we can drop him down and immediately correct several units on our board by boosting to even, so they're boosted again by the Seesaw at the end of our turn. In a similar manner, we can also use Horst Bosodi, and unfortunately he only plays Vitality for his 1 coin, but again, if we use this on units with even power, they'll remain at even power until our next turn. And we'll use these boosting cards in order to spend coin and keep as many of our units as possible on even power at the end of our turn. On the offensive side, we have Ewald Bosodi, the other Bosodi brother, and he can spend 1 coin in order to give an enemy bleeding. And odd units with bleeding will remain at odd power and lose 2 power at the end of the turn. And note that they both have deploy effects, which is strengthened if the other's in the graveyard. And for this event, coins are much more useful, as they'll give twice as much value, so we do prefer to play Ewald in an earlier round, so that Horst's ability is strengthened. And similarly, we can apply bleeding through the Bloody Good Friends, by spending 1 coin, although if the target is boosted, they'll instead damage it by 1. Or the Edrina Endriga can also spend 1 coin in order to damage an enemy unit by 1. But note that unlike most Fee abilities, this one does have a cooldown, so we can only use this once per turn. Also note that both these cards have the Insanity ability, which means that if we have insufficient coin to use, they will damage themselves instead by the cost of the fee. And this can be quite interesting for us because the Seesaw boosts them to an odd power at the end of the turn, and that means it will damage them at the end of the turn anyway. So if we use their Insanity condition, it will knock them back down to an even, saving us the coin and boosting us again at the end of the turn anyway. So we can use these abilities for free in those situations. And Vita and Iledia can also ping an enemy unit for 1 damage every turn, or if we have the Horde condition met, for 2 damage instead. And so we use them either to deal 1 damage to even powered units, or 2 damage to odd powered units when we have their Horde condition in effect. And so as I've sort of said before, these damage cards are particularly interesting, the Friends, the Endriga, and these two, because their effects and usage will change depending on how many coins we actually have. And finally, our strongest damaging card, and probably the strongest removal card in the game, the Tunnel Drill. And it is profit 1, and for 2 coins it can damage an enemy by 1, although this damage will increase for each adjacent Crown Splitter. So we ideally look to place it between 2 Crown Splitters, so it does 3 damage each time for its 2 coins. And we can use this card to clean up the board immediately, if we happen to have 9 coins in our coffer, or we can also hit numerous even powered enemies over time, in which case the drill is doing 5 damage for 2 coins. So, many of the syndicate cards do require coin to keep functioning, and we also have several ways of getting it. And several of the cards shown so far do have profit abilities, so they are at least self-sufficient for a few turns. We also have our leader ability, Lined Pockets, and we can use it 6 times in order to gain 1 coin, but we also get an additional coin whenever we play one of our mini crime cards. We also have the stratagem, Tiger's Eye, and we can use this, if we're starting a blue coin, we can use this for an immediate 5 coins. With Pickpocket for an immediate 8 coins, and Dip in the Ponta will give us 4 coins and damage an enemy unit by 3, and we'll try to use this on enemies with even power for maximum effect, and that way it'll do 5 damage if they cannot correct it. And Shakedown, which will also give us profit 4 and boost an allied unit by 5 if that unit is on odd power. And we'd probably prefer to use Shakedown to boost either the Blacksmith or Horst Bosodi, as those cards cannot boost themselves with their ability. So, those are the core cards of this deck, and as always in this mode, we try to keep our units on even power at the end of our turn, and put our enemies on odd power. And most syndicate abilities do require coin to use, and so we will look to refill our coffers regularly in order to keep our cards functioning. And so we will need to have a balance between spending in order to utilize the Seesaw effect and generating coin. And we'll finish with a quick flip through the rest of this deck. Okay, so we also have Cleaver as another option for setting up the Crown Splitter pocket. And he can spend 4 coins and he'll spawn a Cleaver's Muscle beside him, or in the row, who is also a Crown Splitter. And when he's deployed, he'll actually also spawn and play Shakedown, which is another crime we have, which boosts the unit by 3 and gives profit 4. As well as having the Intimidate ability, which will boost himself by 1 for every time a crime is played, or this Intimidate will increase for every adjacent Crown Splitter. And this means that if Cleaver is isolated when we play him and use Shakedown to boost Cleaver, he will only boost to 5 power, and then be on 4 power at the end of the turn. So when playing Cleaver, we actually want to play him next to a Crown Splitter that already exists, and that way when he's boosted he'll be at 7 power at the end of the turn. And we also have Noble Gradient Justice, and we can use this to play a Bronze Crown Splitter from our deck, and if we already have one, we'll spawn another Cleaver's Muscle on the melee row. And this is another way which we can set up the Crown Splitter pocket for our Tunnel Drill, but also just to get a powerful card like the Blacksmith from our deck. And keep in mind that we only have 4 Bronze Crown Splitters in this deck, which are the pairs of the Coerced Blacksmith and the Bloody Good Friends. And so you have to be careful not to brick this card by playing all of them in the earlier rounds. And Horson Jr. is just a very powerful addition to any Syndicate deck. And we are running Devotion here, so this will be the ability that is triggered, in which case he will damage a unit by 6 and gain a coin for every excess point of damage dealt. And again, this is another form of removal, in which we can remove some engine on the opponent's side. He can also spend 3 coins to destroy enemies with 3 power or less, which is not necessarily great value here. But our other damage cards may find it difficult to finish off enemies, and so we can use Horson for that purpose. And note that he also has the Insanity ability, so we can damage him instead if we use his ability. And we try to do this only when he uses odd power, in which case he only takes 2 damage from this. Philip Eilhart is also another powerful addition to any Syndicate deck, and by spending a number of coins equal to the unit's power, she can seize it. So you can use this card to steal powerful enemies from the opponent's opponent's board. And note that the point swing using her ability is each coin is worth 2 times the value, so she has the same value as the Seesaw effect in this mode. And the Vivaldi Bank for tutoring, and it gives us profit 3, which is already helpful, and it will let us look through our deck and play a card from it whose price is the depth from the top. And we tend to play this in round 3 when we know what's in our deck and there are fewer cards there. And Furko the Sculptor, who's another tutor for crime cards, and I probably want to use Furko to play Nova Gradient Justice, and that will put 3 Crown Splitters in a melee row and set up the Crown Splitter pocket for the drill. On top of the Tunnel Drill, we have Horson's Freak Show, and it is profit 2, and by spending 2 coins it can damage an enemy unit by 2. And we'll use this card just to remove enemies. And I do kind of limit its use to removal, as it is only 2 damage for 2 coins, so it's not great value. Okay, so that's the deck, and as always the link to the deck list is below in the video description. Now, let's see how this deck plays.
There is but one punishment for traitors.
Let us put an end to this nonsense, this farce!
Espar upp med order!
Can you smell it? Victory is on the wind!
Years been perfecting this plan. A whole damned year! You'll never take us alive! Beat the lordling dogs until they beg for mercy! Alba!
On that, we find ourselves in agreement.
Trouver ni gloire!
El Herzer.
They've so damn much. Anyone teach them to share?
Slow, ain't ya?
Tell me what you've got.
Snitches get stitches. Give no quarter!
Deals. Novigrad's built on deals.
Let their blood break their bones and spirit!
As you wish.
You'll suffer the consequences of your foolishness.
Truth and destiny have prevailed over lies and schemes. Between brothers, harmony rarely reigns.
How can I help?
Together! But don't get used to it.
You'll never take us alive!
Careful! I heard the Aetheri read minds.
You shall taste of your own medicine.
%10 for peace of mind? Well...
Customer is king.
This one, the tickler.
Allow me to play you
If
an
I'm to die,
elven folk.
I'll do so sword in hand.
I honestly don't know what you think this is, Vagrant.
Enough of this farce! Vedrai, Enlay!
Only one of us will still stand by the end of the day.
Yes, one.
Better than paying taxes.
Ah, this will shoot tree.
Snitches get stitches!
You're lucky to keep your heat.
The best feathers are from hens.
Well, we've not had enough.
My knights, I need to be like witches, strong and immune.
Dole! Blathana! Death to Old One!
Get out, you baldy-faced baby.
Humans are scum. I prefer elves, dwarves, pixies even.
Hush, little monster. Don't growl a word.
I've no mercy for your kind.
Ested esa crisa.
Your souls will propel this longship.
We finish them, then I finish you.
Ested esa crisa.
Now this is a knife. Get out, you baldy-faced baby.
On that, we find ourselves in agreement.
You crossed the wrong sorceress.
I heard the Aphiri read minds.
Did your mothers bear?
Deals. Novigrad's built deals.
You humans, so brittle.
The time of sword and axe, the age of the wolf and storm is nigh.
Your deepest, darkest dreams, I can make them real.
I'll do what I can.
You'll never take us alive!
Bribe me, dimwit. You're supposed to bribe me.
We finish them, then I finish you.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Finally. Alert! To arms!
Here's been perfecting this plan a whole damned year!
Thank not me, thank my little late.
You stand before royal majesty.
Left, right, left, right.
Call this one the Tickler.
You'll never take me alive!
Press those vermin!
Aye, aye, sir.
Finally.
I'll do what I can.
You and me, we ain't done yet.
Pissing in the wind can often sire the deepest regret.
Ah, liquid gold, this.
Three, two, one, go!
You'll need Form Z6 CV1265X for that.
16 years in the sewers begging like a beast.
I'm all ears.
%10 for peace of mind. Well,
Think you can keep up with a Novigrad lass?
Shite. Map's upside down again.
Never thought I'd look so damn fetching in feathers.
Canny cup cleanly when you squirming about like that.
And stay out. Together, but don't get used to it.
My fist takes purest tears, purest in all Novigrad.
Between brothers, harmony rarely reigns.
Aiming to lose your teeth too?
How many more of yous did your mothers bear?
For the sake of humankind, all non-humans must die.
Life's short. Enjoy it.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Looky here, if it ain't simply and wily.
Next time it'll be personal.
You got a sea beast swimming in them breeches.
Move it, or I'll beat you bloody.
Gotta hand it to you. Good work. Just great.
Out of the kettle, into the cauldron.
Careful. I heard the Aetheri read minds.
I've no mercy for your kind.
Wilfred, get up! Wilfred!
I'm ready.
Give them no rest! No reprieve!
I call this one the Tickler.
Next time it'll be personal.
Listen, I just work here.
We'll help one another, and both benefit.
God is Freya!
To arms! To arms! The foe is nigh!
They've so damn much. Anyone teach them to share?
My knights, I need to be like witches, strong and immune.
I once lopped off 3 heads with one blow.
Well, we've not had enough.
10% for peace of mind? Well...
May Modron Freya watch us and keep us.
Modron Freyr is patient, but she brooks no insult.
Warcraft!
Gotta hand it to you. Good work.
I'm a dwarf for business.
Accept our sacrifice!
Well, I guess that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. As always, the link to the deck is in the video description. If you have questions about specific card choices, or possible changes and improvements to the deck, feel free to leave a comment below the video and I'll respond to it when I can. Until next time,